Hey, what's up out there, everybody? I hope all's going well for you guys. Today here, we're going to dive into this supernatural thriller from IFC called The Wretched. It's written and directed by Brett and Drew Pierce. The story centers on this teenage kid who goes to stay with his father and ends up crossing paths with a witch who is feeding on people and posing as the woman living next door. So let's get into this horror thriller and see what it delivers. The release calendar for movies is a little bit of a mess right now, like a lot of different things, so this was another film that kind of did sneak up on me, and I'm glad it didn't slip past my radar because overall I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a witch-themed body horror film that is told through teenage characters. It all blends into a film that really delivers great tension, effective suspense, and an overall sinister atmosphere that really looms over the story nicely to create effective uneasiness. The story and the characters all progress like a typical teenage horror film with the usual character dynamics and your teen angst. There isn't really anything unique about these character types, but the plot itself with this boy having to deal with this deadly witch is the primary focus, so added depth in the characters isn't as important if there's enough foundation to already grab onto, which I do think this movie delivers. And that is where, when watching this movie, I noticed this was a bit more of a traditional film than you may come to expect from IFC. However, the visuals and the practical makeup work create a very evil-looking creature as this witch that did make the movie work, and the performance from Zara Mahler was really just what this role needed. She was creepy, she was commanding, and she was able to capture that dark, evil vibe very nicely through her delivery. She was not one to be messed with, and that made the threat to these leading characters that much more imposing and more intriguing. I thought the cast as a whole did a good job of filling out their roles. They did make the most out of some simplistic characters, and they did carry the emotional weight of the story beats nicely, but really this is a horror movie. You want to be on edge, you want to be cringing from the contorted movements and the violent killings from this witch, and this movie does not disappoint in that department. The pacing, I think, overall was relatively steady, and after a bloody sequence to kick things off, the film introduces these characters, as well as the setting, and the horror elements from there are consistent. I enjoyed the fact it didn't spend too much time on some of the more unneeded character arcs. It focuses on building tension, and the continual elevation of it was effective. There were moments this movie felt like Disturbia as this kid sees something that is not right with this woman next door. Bit by bit, he begins to see more evidence, and he goes on that familiar mission of trying to get someone to believe in him. And sure, it's admittedly formulaic. However, the story does spend a good amount of time also exploring this witch, its power, as well as splashes of its history. It all translates into some effective horror, and that balance is what I think made an otherwise procedural story very entertaining. The cast is relatively unknown as well, which also works for creating unpredictability and who will or won't make it to the end of the film, and I think that curiosity was another fun aspect of the film. There were certainly elements of this movie that we've seen done before, but overall this was a well-crafted film. It does many things right. A horror movie always comes down to the horror elements, and I think this film did them well. The look, the movement, the sounds, the brutality of this witch was gory and eerie, and that's what you want. The direction and the cinematography complement some great lighting and production and sound design. It has a blend of mainstream horror elements as well as just indie horror elements as well to create a variety to the frightening visuals. So I'm going to give The Wretched 75%. I had a good time with it. Sure, it was a little bit by the numbers from a storytelling aspect, but the collection of characters create just enough appeal to invest in. This is a witch movie set in a normal town, and the result was really a grounded take that can lure you in and have you guessing what's next, and it does not disappoint with the gore and the violence. So if you enjoy the trailers, I recommend checking this movie out. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.